Is Bill record?
Yes, Sarah, I want to talk a bit about the meeting we had last Thursday.
Was there a mistake?
Well, your team overall did a thorough and commendable job, but remember I told you to put a welcome sign by the elevator?
Yes, Miss Bill, and I made sure that it was there.
And if I remember right, you had rules at the elevator door to lead our guests upstairs.
That's right, madam. It was just to make sure to direct them where to go.
That's great, but despite all these efforts, a couple of guests still went to the roof floor. Do you know why?
I think it was because another company had a meeting and its title was similar to us.
Exactly, and they too had a welcome sign by the elevator door.
But how can that be? I expressly made it clear to Rose that she would need to...
See where the problem arose?
Yes, madam. Rose might have been in the elevator leading another group of guests upstairs as other guests were arriving at the elevator.
That's right, and she wouldn't have been able to be downstairs providing the right information to another group of guests.
I'm sorry, I should have told her to just see the guests into the elevator with oral instructions about which floor to go to.
No, I think it was a good idea to have someone guiding our guests all the way to the meeting room.
Well, maybe I will get 2 people to stand by downstairs next time and make sure one of them is always there.
Now you're talking. Having guests on room floor should never happen again, wouldn't you agree?
Yes, Miss Liu. I'm terribly sorry. I will make sure things go more smoothly next time.
Okay, so this is the end of our scenario 1, and now it's Q&A time. So we have prepared 4 questions for all of you. So if you know the answer, please don't hesitate to raise your hand. So now let's move on to the question number 1. So question number 1, what's the problem in scenario 1? So does anyone know the answer? Please raise your hand. Okay. Does anyone know the answer? Okay, Angela. A. Yes, congratulations. No one directed a couple of guests while Ruth led another group of guests. Okay, so you will get a 10. And next, question number 2. What can they do to avoid the problem if they will hold the meeting next time? So does anyone know the answer? Please raise your hands. Yes, Leo.
B.
B. Yes, congratulations. The answer is B. Get 2 people to stand by downstairs and make sure one of them is always there. Okay, so now let's move on to the question number 3. So what's the meaning of how can that be? Does anyone know the answer? Please raise your hand. Okay.
Answer is B.
B. Yes, congratulations. The answer is B. Yes, how come or why? So if you want to express the same meaning about how come or why, you can also use how can that be? Yes. So now let's move on to the last one. So what's the meaning of now you are talking? Does anyone know the answer? Please raise your hand. Oh, does anyone?
That's a good one. That's a good question.
Okay.
The answer is B.
Answer B. Sorry, no. So does anyone know the answer? C. Yes, congratulations. The answer is C. That sounds good or a good idea. And now I will give you the further explanation about now you're talking. Now you're talking is often heard in a conversation. And for example, if today you ask your friends, hey, do you want some salad for dinner? Then your friend says, no. Then you may ask, so how about McDonald's? And your friend replies, now you're talking, let's go. So that means he or she thinks, well, McDonald's is really a good idea, or wow, that sounds really good. So that is what he or she is really interested in. So next time, if you want to express the same meaning about, well, that's a good idea, or well, that sounds good, you can also use now you're talking. And now I will also give you the further explanation about your guard media. You got me there means I don't know or I have no any idea. And there is also another one that is very similar to it. And that is you got me. You got me, and I will give you an example about you got me. For example, today you ask your friend, hey, did you just tell me a lie? And your friend replies, you got me, you're so great. So that means, or you know your friends were lying to you. And also there is another sentence which is similar to that. That is, you get me. You get me means you understand what I'm saying. So that is really different among the three sentences, although like looks very similar. So next time if you want to use it, please pay more attention to their differences. Okay, so this is the end of our Q&A time. Thanks for your participation. And I want to make a brief summary about this part. Before the meeting, we need to make sure everything is okay, like the procedure of the meeting or the condition of the equipment. And also, we need to prepare some backup plans to deal with any emergencies during the meeting, right? Also, after the meeting, we need to review and discuss whether there is still any problem during the meeting and then come up with the solutions to solve it so that next time we can make our meeting go more smoothly. Okay, so now let's move on to next part. Is activity 1 and it's on page 32, so please turn to this page. Okay, first of all, let me introduce you an important role in the meeting. That is facilitator. So everyone please repeat after me. Facilitator. Facilitator. Yes. Facilitator is a person who hosts the meeting and lead a group discussion to achieve a specific objective. So they should be neutral and also make sure the procedure of the meeting will go more smoothly. Then you may want to know, so what do the facilitators do in a meeting? So next, I will tell you what will they do in a meeting. And there are 6 points. And in my part, I'm in charge of the first 3 points. So now, let's move on to the first one. The first one is make everyone feel comfortable and valued. So for example, before the meeting, the facilitators will gather some information about their participants, like their cultural background, values, or their personalities to help themselves know more about their participants and also make sure their participants feel good during the meeting. Then they will also brief the ground rules, which means the rules of procedure. And by doing so, their participants will feel more relieved and respected because they definitely know all the rules during the meeting. And finally, sometimes the facilitators will use some body language to support their words to help someone who maybe come from the different cultural background really understand all things during the meeting. Or they will use their body language to gain their participants' attention and to make their participants think, this facilitator is not just standing still here and always talking. Okay, so now let's move on to the next one. It's encourage participation. It's really important for the facilitators in the meeting. They will use some visual aids like flip chart, like this. It's common to see in a meeting room. And also use open-ended questions to help them open-ended questions to make their participants interact with each other, have the brainstorming, or generate more creative ideas together. Also, they will divide their participants into the small groups because there will be more chance for each participant express themselves and also share their different opinions about the plan. And in addition, by doing so, they can also help someone who is maybe afraid of sharing their opinions in front of lots of people, try to express their point of views about the plan briefly in the small groups. Okay, so the next one is listen and observe. As a facilitator, they should listen to their participants' ideas actively and carefully. And then they also need to paraphrase and summarize during the meeting. And paraphrase here means the facilitators use their own words to restate their participants' ideas, and by doing so, they can make sure they really understand their participants' thinking clearly, and also make sure they know their participants all the details of the discussion during the meeting without confusing anything. Okay, so far, does anyone have any problem about these 3 points? No? Okay, so this is the end of my part in this activity 1, and I have mentioned make everyone feel comfortable and valued, encourage participation, and also listen and observe. So now and next, Sarah will introduce you the next 3 parts.